Hi everybody, we are back together. It's been a long time, I know. Just been super busy and was going to start to do this project and thought that's a perfect project to do a video on. It's going to be some learning for me and hopefully for you, and hopefully make you a little less intimidated by polymer clays. Just have some fun with it, just like everything we do in our crafts. It should be fun. Some of the things we're going to be using today, well, first let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a X-Acto or a craft knife and we're going to cover it, and it's going to end up looking similar to this, just different colors, probably a different pattern, but it is going to be a polymer clay covered X-Acto knife. I studied the X-Acto because whenever I do a pin, I'm always so afraid they're going to melt that I overwatch them, generally don't bake them long enough, and so I was trying to think of something that would be metal, that would be a better, you know, less worry during cook time. And I thought, well, why not do an X-Acto? We do rhinestones on them and all that, so why not clay? So I am using just Crafters Collection clay, polymer clay, the baking kind, not the air dry. You can get this at, I think, Hobby Lobby, Walmart. It's fairly inexpensive. If you find it on sale, it's really inexpensive. And you need to, the only thing I would say is that sometimes with the advanced or some of the different textures, they can be a little hard to condition. Conditioning just means making them pliable. Basically play with them till they're pliable. I went ahead and did that before I started filming, so you guys wouldn't have to watch me just play with clay for 10-15 minutes. I will say the purple one was difficult. It's a little bit older, so I ran it through the pasta machine. That's another thing we're going to use. This is one, I can't find the crank, so excuse the screwdriver, but whatever works. So this will help you press it into sheets a little easier than a rolling pin. Do you have a rolling pin, just in case? This one is a cake decorating rolling pin for, you know, baking different stuff, and it works great. A lot of my stuff is just things I've gathered, not necessarily things I went out and said, okay, I need to get a complete collection of clay tools to do my clay. I think it's kind of interesting to try to use what you already have. So we're going to do a couple things. We're going to cover that pin. We're also going to make some pieces to bake similar to these, because I am going to fill my skull with them for my next skull mold pour. The other thing you're going to want is, this is a you don't have to have, but it makes it cutting a little easier. It's an acrylic block. It's one from Stamps, so if you do any kind of stamping and you have one of those, that will work. You don't have to buy anything special for that either. We're going to be layering it, making designs in it, and so we're going to be rolling it into sheets, and then we're going to try with the white to add some of my Solar Color Dust Hyper Hollow Flakes and Hyper Hollow Glitter. I'll see how that comes out. But just to give you guys an idea of the different designs you can do, you can make jewelry, you can, you know, freeform. This is really hideous, I shouldn't show anybody this, but you can kind of freeform and play with it. The design's pretty, but that's about it. There's another one. You can make it look like stone, you can make them look, you know, all different. Here's one of the brighter colors. So yeah, so we're going to just kind of play around, see what kind of design we come up with. I have a Silpat that I'll use to bake them. They bake at 230 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes, depending on how thick they are. This is just some leftover I had from the last ones I did. I may or may not cut those up to bake them just to help fill the skull a little more, but thought I'd give you an idea of what those are going to look like. So this is not necessary either. You can use a rolling pin. It's just easier for me to get them as thin as you want them. I think first what we're going to do is take the white. Yes, it's white. My hands just had color on them. So we have like a pearlescent, lime green, pink, turquoise, purple, and we're going to put some different things in this white. I've watched a few videos. People do this. Hopefully we'll be successful as well. I'm having trouble deciding what color I want to use. Maybe we'll do a little bit of all of them. Why not? Go wild. Okay, let's see. Thumbs up. Okay, I'm going to be sparkly. So is my dog. My little senior dog, Maggie, is laying on the floor underneath me, so she's going to be sparkly as usual. She gets the brunt of all of the spillage. Let's see. I love these two. I've also got a fan blowing on us since South Texas decided it didn't want winter time at all this year. So maybe just those two and some, well, let's rub it together and see what happens. In theory, it should blend in. We'll see. You have to have, your hands have to be a little tough. It can take a bit of pressure to get these conditioned and to mix things into them. So just fair warning. Yeah, it's mixing in, okay. So let's put some of the glitter. I love Solar Color Dust. Well, I love a lot of different companies, but I really love Solar Color Dust chameleons and different things like that, and their mood ring, all that fun stuff. I just dunked her blankets in her water dish. She just turned 14, I'm pretty sure. She has got cataracts, she's blind, and she likes to pretend she's deaf, but I know she hears things, so she's selective hearing, but I think she's losing most of her hearing. But we'll let her say hi a little bit. Okay, well, I don't know. I'm sure it'll show up better once we use the pasta roller. Okay, for cutter, you don't need to buy a special edged cutter either. This is utility knife blade. Works just fine. It's sharp and it's longer, so you can do those sheets with it. So, you know, you want to start out at a little thicker, of course, and go thinner from there. Like I said, basically ignore the screwdriver, but whatever works. I'm going to go through a couple times on this side just to kind of mix those micas in and stuff. Or not micas, but the hyper hollows. Now that actually isn't a bad thickness. I may just keep it that. We're going to just layer them, and then we'll cut it to size after we get them all layered. This is where you kind of want to decide how you want your colors to go. So let's see. Turquoise has a little brown in it. I'm not worried about that either, because you're going to see we're going to kind of mix these together to make a design, so they're going to blend anyways. That just gives us an additional color. I really wanted to put some black in here, but I'm apparently out of black clay, so we will make do with what we have. This clay will last quite a while for you as well. You can, as long as you keep it in a sealed bag. I keep it in a sealed bag and a box, and they've lasted no problem. So this one's bigger, obviously, than the white, so layer and put another layer of this a little later down the line. Let's see if this purple cooperates. Like I said, it's tough. I don't know if it got dry or what, but gotta have some arm strength for this too. We have the crank somewhere. I just can't find it, so it is what it is. I'm gonna go through twice on that. Like I said, it's a little tougher. Same thing here. They don't have to be quite even right now. Let's do the light pink. So if everybody's been doing well. I'm in the midst of changing jobs again. Thankfully, I do start a new one on the 1st. I've been out of work since last September, so it's been an adventure, needless to say. But thankfully, I do have a job starting May 1st, and I work from home, which is going to be nice too, to save on gas, because gas is outrageous, as we all know. So it'll be nice to be able to save on that. But I hope everybody else is doing well and things are going well for everybody. life's an adventure, right? At some point though, it's like, can we just settle down a little bit? Maybe not so much adventure, but it's good. Gives you strength, right? Okay, so save that one for later. I think we'll do the green. Now you don't want one of the lighter colors like the pearlescent or the white right next to each other or right next to another super light color. I like the contrast, so that's why we're gonna go this lime green. Oh, that's a big old chunk. See this one, you can tell the difference. This one and the purple, see how shiny and just kind of smooth that went through. Where the purple was a bit of a battle. Basically, we're layering this. You're going to see we're going to take some of the tools over here and we're going to kind of poke holes in it and different patterns to make it blend together. And then you'll see when we cut it that it's going to show that real pretty design. So you can do 2 colors, 3 colors. I decided to go crazy and do a lot of colors, which might have been not a great idea, but that's okay. Okay, so we're going to start over again. Turquoise. Don't have any more whites. So let's go purple, pink, green, and the pearlescent. I love the pearlescent. It's real pretty. Okay, now we're going to go bigger here. We'll go as wide as it is because we're going to kind of go a little bit at a time, and we want to make sure that it's going to go through as my whole table shakes. It looks like we're defeating the purpose and we're going to mix them all together into one solid, but I promise that's not what, that won't happen. Jeez. Occasionally I'll wear a glove because my little hands get to hurting. The crank, I'm sure, would be much easier. Don't want it to stick to each other. Okay, that's kind of your prep work, I guess would be the best way to put that. So now, I don't bother cutting it at this point. I know the ones everybody on YouTube does, and they're so great. They make the most beautiful things. I'm just not that precise. Maybe I should be. And we'll do it again. So basically I want to get as many layers as possible. We're going to make it neater. We want to roll it just enough for there to be no air bubbles in there for it to kind of stick. And as usual, there's a hair. Every time I do a tumbler or anything before I send it out the door, I have to put it under the magnifying glass, and I do a hair check to make sure there's no random hairs for anybody in there. Alright, so now we're going to cut it into a better square, I guess would be, or rectangle. Like I said, you don't have to be super precise unless you want to be precise. It's all about having fun and experimenting. To me, really, you know, happy mistakes, right? You never know, you might come up with something super pretty. So you can see how pretty that is already, the lines in there. So we'll do something with those scraps also. They won't go to waste. And then I'm going to, believe it or not, I'm going to stack it again. Alright. Those colors, I was worried that they might be a little busy or something. They actually look pretty good. Okay. So now the fun part. You can do whatever tool you want to do for this. If you use a round cookie cutter, you're going to get one shape. If you use a V-shaped tool, you're going to get another look. So we're going to kind of go in with a couple different ones. This is a woodworking tool. It's going to work just the same, and you're just going to stab the glade. Okay, then you want to get it all back together so you don't have those air pockets. So you're just going to squeeze those air pockets out. It's okay if you're making the square a little smaller, you're going to be slicing it. Smaller is actually a little easier to slice. I'm actually going to go in on the other side, and I'm going to do just round ones. I'm trying to get it in not the same marks if possible. And then same thing. We're going to get those air pockets out. Now my brain was thinking you would cut it the opposite way that you do. I don't know why I thought that, but I'll show you guys which way you want to cut it. I was thinking you'd want to cut it the opposite of the holes you just made in it, but basically you want to cut it with the holes. I guess I'll show you. Let's make sure we get all the air pockets out. And I just kind of sorry about the dead air. Got to concentrating on the rolling pin. Okay. So you're going to set it, it's kind of up to you. Some people set it like this and slice it that way. Personally like to have it a little fatter because I'm going to do it that way. In fact, I want it fatter the other way. More of a rectangle than a square. Get more slices out of it that way. All right, you can kind of see what it's going to do, but it should be, no matter what tool you use to make whatever design you want to make, it should come out pretty. My blade's not super sharp, so I'm going to kind of do the slicing technique. You want to do them fairly thin. We're just going to cut the whole thing, and then we will start putting them on the pin. So I will fast forward through this part while I slice all these, and then we'll get to putting it, not the pin, on the X-Acto knife. So I will be back with you guys in just a minute. I will fast forward and see you in a second.
Sip your chai, you got nothing to hide. Yeah, your future's so bright, so just smile like there's no one watching. Early morning on a Saturday, wake up, time to get it started. No one's gonna get in your way, no one's gonna leave you broken hearted. You don't need nobody else. Everyone knows you're doing well, so well, yeah. Not a worry in in the world, you ain't scared of nothing. You a boss kind of girl, you got all you wanted. Earned yourself a quick break in the morning. If someone tells you otherwise, give 'em warning. Don't let yourself be restrained. Own yourself and just walk away. Away, yeah, yeah. Just one look in your eyes and I know I found who I'm looking for. It's the way that you smile that captivates my mind. 'Cause I see the way you're winning. You got something that inspires everyone who's lost their vision. You got something that everyone is craving. I'm just wishing I can be with you. I feel like I need you in my arms.
The X-Acto knife. I took, of course, the blade and the cover off. Don't want to cut ourselves. And so this is the top, it's the bottom. I think it's really going to matter, but you just want to make sure you don't plug that hole, of course. And you are just going to start putting the clay pieces on. You can go any shape you want to connect them. So connect at least like a little piece. What I do is the big pieces, and then I'll go back and add little pieces at the end. You can pick whichever designs you like. You can do the long cut, the short cut. You're going to just keep doing this until you get it completely covered, and then we're going to smooth it out, but I'll show you what we do to get all the air bubbles and all that out as soon as I get all the clay on here. So I will fast forward again and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so you basically have the whole thing covered. It's uneven, it's a mess right now. So you're just going to keep, you want to get the air out from underneath. So you're going to keep squeezing it. You can do this. You want to be careful, the more you move it, the more it's going to kind of change your design. So if you don't want that changed up too much, just be careful how much you're rolling. See, it's a little fatter there, so we're just going to kind of spread it out. But the more you spread it out, the more you change that design. I'm going to try to get it right to the end, but not over, of course. And you can always trim up that end, but the main thing is we don't want any air bubbles underneath there. Just take some time to work with it, get it the way you want it. Mine tend to be a little uneven, but that's okay. It's handcrafted art. No two are alike, and there's always going to be those little flaws. That's what makes them unique. This is my first time doing a craft knife like this, so we'll see how it goes. At least I can fail for you if it's not going to work. Okay, now what you can do, and I saw this trick, and if I can figure out who it was, I will link them for sure. But she normally said she normally wouldn't put alcohol on them, but to get kind of an even shine coat, she will. So we're gonna do that. I'm just gonna use my finger, I guess. See how that's gonna smooth it out. It will lift the colors a little bit, so be careful. But there you go. It's real pretty. So it's going to go on the silk pad also. And all these little pieces I'm going to put on the silk pad, I'm going to bake those as well, because like I said, those are going to go in the skull. This part of the video, I'm just showing you, I'm kind of messing around with some of the extra clay. I'm going to kind of go fast through it. Thought you might want to enjoy, otherwise you can just skip right over. Let's see how this looks. Cooked them for 30 minutes at 230, and it seems to be pretty perfect. Let's put the blade in. Obviously it's not going to change the way it cuts, it's just going to look prettier when you do it. Now I need to clean that part of it. I just picked one of my old ones just to get the video in there. Now if I could remember how to put that blade in there. There we go. This particular X-Acto knife is a little bit on the ornery side, but yeah. I think that came out real pretty. I think I might make some more of those. Possibly post some on my shop. Yeah, it's real pretty. You could do any colors that somebody wanted. It's smooth, so I love the rhinestone ones, but this one's nice and smooth. Alright, so that was a success. Good to know. Now here's the two for the pendants. You should be able to just fit right on there. Yep. And you can pick which side you like better. I kind of like the stripes down there. And then, let's see. Same with this one. Pick which way you want it to go. And then what I like to do is UV resin, just to finish them off. So you're just going to basically dome the pendant. See here, chakra around here. We'll get that bubble before we put the light on it. I usually don't use a torch or alcohol in my UV resin. I don't know why. Honestly, I take an X-Acto knife and I just pop them. If they're real stubborn, like this one's going to be, we might want to torch them. I think I'm always afraid that the UV resin is going to catch on fire. I don't know why. I don't worry about that so much with... Yeah, see, they're going to be stubborn. Every other time that would have worked. Alright. Then we'll just do... Make sure they're nice and flat. Do that, and I do the other side as well. Just for being even. Now these are going to be mixed in with these. You can see the different color we have in there. And these will all go in here. And once I have enough to make it full, then I'll go ahead and do the pour. This particular mold takes a lot of resin. So I have found that it's fun just to find different things to put in them. I've done one with pearls. I've done one with rhinestones. I did one with a snow globe in there. Anything to kind of take up the space. I did one with dragon eyeballs. So I've done several different things. I need to do one with just plain googly eyes and see if it'll make noise. That probably should be one of my next ones. Like I have a cup like that, and when you shake it, it sounds like a rainmaker. So I wonder if you did that in the skull mold, it would have eyeballs sticking out and it would sound like a rainmaker. We may have to do that. Maybe we'll do that on one of our next videos here. Yeah, so we're just gonna wait for this. I usually do one round of the 120 seconds, and then so 2 minutes, and then I flip them, do the other side, do another round, and then I'll do another on each side of them just to make sure it's nice and cured all the way through. You can take your if you want this to be a little brighter, you can take and put, if you use crystalline, you can put crystalline over it. You could put a thin coat of the UV resin. Polyacrylic, there's let's see, where did it go? It's by Aliens Joy Glaze. Puts a bit of a shine on things. So if you wanted to, you can keep it as is, of course. It feels like we were good. Got no air bubbles under there, so yeah, I think that really came out good. I love those colors. Then we'll flip it. This one may not need any on the other side, but it definitely needs some curing time on the other side. So I think I'm going to cure these, then we can trim them up and all of that. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll adventure into playing with clay like when you were a little kid. Now we can just be a little more artistic about it, but we're still playing with clay after all. But I do enjoy it. You can make different designs and different colors, and you know, you can just not even make the dents, but just twist it. And I did that for one of my gnome tumblers. I made the rim of his hat and the ball in the back of his hat kind of rainbow for Pride Month. So you can really do all kinds of fun things, mixing different clays together. It doesn't really matter what brand you use. I would say if it's a little softer, it's going to be a little easier, and I definitely prefer the oven bake over the air dry. I'm also more of an instant gratification kind of person, so that may be part of it. I just think it's less chance of it getting messed up before you can get it baked. One video I watched did say that if you have the plain old Jane Bic pins, just the ballpoint pins, that those do not melt in the oven. So we could certainly try those. I did do this one is just a Amazon just cheap gel pen. I was looking for alternatives, and then don't know where it went. I was going to show you what happens when it doesn't go right. I have a gnome pin somewhere. I should have gotten that out. Anyways, the plastic part of the pin melted, so I now just have a gnome head on a stick. So obviously you can go wrong with these. If I can find it before we close out, I will certainly show you guys. It's I think it's actually kind of amusing, but definitely a fail. Let's see. It used to be, I think I just moved it the other day, and now of course I'm not going to be able to remember where he went. Hold on one second. Oh, here he is. Or no, this one is a success one. But I do have just a gnome head on a stick. Let's see. So that's, yeah, definitely more fun. You can do your gnomes and your cows and all that just on your pins instead of the tumblers. Here we go. Yeah, he's literally on a stick because I was hoping the dowel would kind of straighten the pin part out, but as you can see, it snapped and shrunk, and so basically I have a gnome on a stick. So yeah, they definitely can melt. You definitely need to keep an eye on them. And certain pins are going to be better than others. Obviously the metal worked fantastic. These, it started to warp a little bit. I pulled it fast enough, thankfully. Excuse you, Tony. So you just want to keep an eye on that, and yeah, and just have fun with it. If it melts, oh well, you just have a gnome on a stick, right? So you're all good. So as usual, I hope everybody stays happy, safe, and healthy. I will put video of the finished pendants at the end of this video, and if you guys have any questions or just want to ask me something in general, or if anything I can do to help or anything like that, please leave a comment and let me know. And as I always say, have fun with it. It's clay. You don't like it, you can remold it. So and it's not the same price as epoxy, so if you have to redo it, it's not nearly as painful. So you guys have a great rest of your day wherever you are, whatever time that is. And as I said, stay happy, safe, and healthy out there, and I will talk to you guys again soon. I forgot to ask you guys to please subscribe, like, comment, and share. All of that helps the channel grow and is so much appreciated. Thank you guys so much.